One of the things that you said that you wanted to improve is communication, and you took a big stride on that on Saturday with a big meeting between the staff and the city council. Tell us about the budget workshop and how things went.
Well, considering that both our city manager's position and our finance director's position now are both being filled in the interim by myself and Kim Galvin respectively, we began the budget year a little bit different than usual because, again, the key level administration is not in place. So we decided that it would be in the best interest to move forward with our first budget workshop to begin to establish and create some dialogue with the city council so that we could in fact find out what some of their priorities are for the future of Cleburne, short-term, long-term, as well as blend those with the things that we know our staff needs to do so that we can in fact put together a reasonable and decent budget. So the staff has been working at this diligently over the last couple of weeks, trying to put some ideas and thoughts together. The council was brought in Saturday in the workshop, and I think we had about 4 hours of what I call very good opening dialogue to kind of set the stage for where we're headed in the future with our budget.
Says you may have more meetings with the council like this. How important will this be, and how different is this than what we've had in the past?
It's not that it's so much different. The city manager is always responsible to submit the annual budget for the council. And that part is not any different. I will, in the absence of a full-time city manager, will put together a budget with the staff's help and with the council's priorities so that they can consider that budget as we come up into early midsummer. But probably the difference is that usually, or in the past, we've not this early on brought the council in to establish priorities. And I talked a little bit about the strategic plan, and I'll kind of use that opportunity to segue into the next portion of our video conference today. Last week, very privileged to go to Frisco, Texas with our mayor and David Esquivel, our public works director. And what we were doing there was to look at the city of Frisco. They, very similar to our community, experienced some significant growth on the north end of State Highway 121 over the last 10 to 15 years. And we in turn hope that with 121 coming south that we will experience at least some similar growth patterns over the next ensuing years for Cleburne. That being the case, often it's good to go and see who else has already built that wagon and what kind of wheels they have on their wagon, and we thought that would be a wonderful opportunity to do so that we in fact don't have to reinvent wheels or create things that have already been done by somebody else and in fact done very well. City of Frisco, a very well managed community, strong support between the mayor and council and the staff there. They've had a long tenure and history of a stable staff. They've worked closely with the citizens of that community to establish priorities. They've asked themselves, what do you want to be when you grow up, basically. And that community has built a very strong footing of progress and change over that period of time. Interestingly, they tell us that back in 2000, when they were looking at their population estimates, they were looking at having about 25,000 people by 2020. By 2020. And last week while we were there, just before the census comes out, they tell us that they've already got over 110,000 people there. So they grew very dramatically, very fast. Will we grow that fast? Probably not likely. But at the same time, in the same token, once you open that gate from Fort Worth, Dallas into our area where people can easily move back and forth across the corridors, there's going to be substantial amounts of property that can be developed, housing, business, industry between here and Fort Worth that should be the catalyst for some future growth. So with that, we know that our council needs to be looking ahead so that we can effectively channel what growth does come our way and be sure that we've got the infrastructure in place to do that. So that's kind of the purpose of our meeting, is just to kind of start setting those wheels in motion, establishing some priorities, and this is going to take us some time. Can't expect the council to do that in a one meeting opportunity, and frankly our budget will be up and running and we'll have it completed by early to midsummer. So we can't wait for the new city manager to get here and or the new finance director. So in the interim, we're taking the opportunities that present themselves to us right now and moving this city continually forward.
Anything you want to add on that Frisco trip that really brought anything to light to you?
The school district, the county, and the city are all very viable partners up there, just as we have been here in Cleburne. It's an important part of growth. Those entities have to work together because the goals and the mission are a lot the same as it comes to infrastructure. So they had a very well demonstrated opportunity to do that. They have, fortunately for their behalf, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of input from their sales tax and their ad valorem taxes up there. A tremendous growth with very much commercial as well as residential growth. And as we all know, rooftops are what generate commercial growth. When they decide which major franchises come to the communities, those franchises are looking at rooftops. They know how many people are living under each rooftop on the average and what they need to sustain their businesses. So as those things occur, we think we'll probably see some of the same things. So that was just some of the things that we noted up there. There certainly was a wonderful time spent, very gracious city and staff up there, and they were willing to share that growth experience with us. So we enjoyed it very much.
In May, we have a city election coming up with more than just city councilmen up on the ballot. Tell us a little bit about the city election and how we're going to cover it on our internet program.
Both for the fire tax and for the police tax, the public safety taxes that are on the ballot. Both groups are working independently with their appointed boards, and they've established budgets. In fact, the fire district, I believe, has already called for their election. The police group will call for their election very quickly. These elections are to be held in May. Again, the money that would be derived from the crime tax can be used for a variety of purposes related to public safety, very specific uses, things that both of our departments feel are essential for them to be able to grow in the future. And again, the boards have given a lot of their time and effort to put together a lot of information in a short period of time. Would encourage viewers to go online to Facebook and to the city's website pages if you have information that you want to know about these taxes. What are these taxes? How much are they? How can they be used? What can't they be used for? I think that's an opportunity for people to go in line, look at those, and be able to make their decisions as they do go to the ballot box later this year.
City council elections too. We have two members who are up for election.
Absolutely. We have Councilwoman Wyatt and Councilman Sturgeon. Both of those two individuals will be running for election this time, and already have opponents, I think, drawn, and there may be some others come, but certainly the face of the council, as it can every May, can change depending on who's elected and who's not. But again, if you haven't registered to vote, I think that's always one of the first things that we would like to encourage you to do. Be a registered voter, because that is your opportunity to vote your preferences and hopefully the candidates that represent best your personal interests. So follow those elections as they come forward, and we'll get that done in May.